Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about the Candy FX module. This creates a color liquefier overlay effect. So it basically adds this kind of liquidy effect to the visual. So let's take a look at it. I've got a video here which is one of the ones that comes with the ZwoBot suite. So let's just hit play. And I've already switched on the Candy effect, so not a big difference at the moment because everything's turned down. So we've got two dials here. This first one, Candy, sort of controls the visibility of the effect. Now it's still quite subtle because the shift dial is right down, but you might notice that around the edges of this you're starting to notice a kind of an additional layer on top of it. If I turn up the shift effect, you're going to start seeing that a lot more. So the Candy dial controls the visibility and the general level of the effect, and then the shift dial moves the overlay around so you can see when it's right down, it's pretty much in the same place, but as I turn the shift effect up, you're seeing that additional overlay is moving, so you're starting to notice it more. So they're the two main controls. Both of those have sound reactive functions and beat controls. So we can just have a look at what that looks like now. I'll turn the low frequency reactive setting on this one, and let's just put the high one on here. And I'm going to play some audio so we can see what that looks like. Okay, so what happens there, when both of them are turned right up, it kind of doesn't have much of an effect. You can still see it a bit in some areas like here, but you'll see it's much more prominent when it's down a bit. So what was happening there is I had the sensitivity of the sound reactivity turned up quite high, so they were both maxing out, which for whatever reason makes the effect much less noticeable. So what I need to do is maybe bring the sensitivity of the shift control down a bit. See what that looks like. There we go. And then I could have the Candy effect going down. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind. When they're both maxed out, it's not going to be very noticeable. At the bottom here, we've got our normal transparency and blend mode settings. So the transparency just controls the transparency of the effect. And then we've got our blend mode. So you can get some pretty interesting things with this module, with the blend modes. And if you hit this plus button, we get some more controls. So here we can change the position of the overlay effect. So you can see as I'm moving this grid around, it's moving the additional layer around. And if you want to reset it to where it was originally, you can click this R button and that'll put it back into its default position. This also has sound reactivity and beat control. And down here, you've got more specific controls. So you can put in a specific number for the X or Y axes. And they both also have audio reactive controls. So what you can do is have it just move left to right. If you don't want it moving all over the place, if you just want it moving along the X axes, you can do that using these controls. So if I hit play now, you can see it's just moving left to right. And then the sensitivity will kind of control which side of the axis it's on. And I can do the same with the y-axis. So now it's just moving up and down. Here we've got this mode set in regular and alpha, so currently it's in regular, and I believe what alpha does is just inverts it. So if we click that, the layers are being inverted. And that's it for the Candy module. Stay tuned in the channel to see more ZwoBot tutorials coming soon.